Hello, everybody, and welcome to another Superstar PartyPlex and Friends FBS. This is Books. Uh, I am Mira, and I will be playing the wonderful, if golden retriever, pizza boy extraordinaire, James Thomas. Yes,
Hi,
and
I'm Sim. I'm
yep.
sorry.
No, you're good. I was just gonna introduce you guys. Go ahead.
I'm sorry.
Ooh, you're fine.
I'm Sim, and I will be playing the world's most awkward man, Elijah Mallory.
And I am Zen, and I will be playing possibly the world's other most awkward man, Eggs Florentine, and also Handy, possibly.
I love both of these people so much. So, we're going to start off with Eggs and James because James has conspired to drag out Eggs for the day and they're going book shopping for their book club.
They are. Uh, for once, Eggs is
So,
not in his security guard uniform. He's in jeans
yes.
and a hoodie with the hood up. And still the mask and bandages and all that stuff, but
James just gave me a little bit of a blushy emoji, so I'm just sitting here.
you can see even less of him than usual. But it's a more casual look.
It's a more casual look, and he's just like, "Oh, that's cute. I like that." Wait, all internally.
Should I have eggs roll insight or just be oblivious?
Go ahead. That just go ahead. Let's see what happens.
Dirty 20?
He sees all.
Eggs, you see James see you, and you see the kind of thought process of, "Oh, that's a good-looking outfit. Cute. Wait." Grabbing thought, tucking it back to be later examined. Books.
I have a
Oh.
thought, but it's not important right now. What's important is book.
Basically.
Oh, we don't have time to unpack this right now. There's books to read instead.
Yep. But with that dirty 20, you can tell that he's not bothered by the thought. It's just more of, I'm really excited. This is my friend. No room in the brain space for additional complicating thoughts right now. We're focusing on the main objective right now.
um,
He can be gay later.
Maslow's hierarchy of needs. At the bottom, books. Above that, being gay.
Yep. Anyways, he just kind of grins at you, Eggs, and he's just like, "So, you ready for the bookstore?"
I guess so. Do you,
You look
uh,
great.
uh,
James, in his customary jeans and hoodie, grinning.
thanks. Uh,
Mm-hmm. Thumbs up.
did they like? I'm thinking maybe they met at the PartyPlex because that's the least
Yeah.
questions asked needed way for them to meet up.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Yeah. I think that's definitely what happened.
mhm. And X
I
is like,
should look up.
uh, do you?
Sorry.
So do you already? have a bookstore in mind. I haven't been around Future World City much. To know where bookstores might be.
That is not the right roll. I forgot that it was slash. D20 plus, what is your modifier again?
Well,
Plus
you
3.
typed a
Okay.
3, so.
Yep. It's just with the on mobile, it was hiding my previous sending
With the whole command pop up.
with the whole entire command pop up. Yeah. Come on, Dice Parser.
This is a hard one, apparently. Dice Purser's thinking on it for a
Apparently.
while.
I'm glad it wasn't just me because I was like sitting here going, "Is it my internet?"
Nope. Do you want to try
Big
sending
think.
another one? Or someone else can try
Well-
rolling it for you?
Sure, someone else go ahead.
Yeah,
Dice
let me
Parser
try.
might not be liking me.
Alright, let's see if my. Oh,
There.
Sim got there first.
I'm sorry.
You're good. Okay, with an 8, James kind of thinks about it for a second and then goes, "Nope, we're going on an adventure. Come on, let's explore." And he's
okay.
grabbing he's grabbing Eggs very gently by the arm. He can pull away if he wants, and just kind of gently tugging in a direction. He just picked a direction, and now they're going.
Here we go.
Eggs is like clearly a little nervous and hesitant, but is not pulling his arm out of James's grasp yet.
Good. I'm just sitting here like overfilled with glee at the fact that Eggs is not pulling away.
Aww.
Yes, like James is just like friend.
MJ put the frickin' oh my fucking god, these bitches gay sticker in front receipts, and Pengu immediately popped into the call. Which I'm sure was coincidence, but
I think. Anyways,
Summoned
we're
by
going.
gay.
We're going. Do we want to roll survival again? Because we're just spinning the wheel
well,
right now. He has no idea.
I was gonna say perception or investigation because they don't have an end point in mind that they're navigating to. They're just looking for a bookstore.
That's true. You said investigation or perception, you said?
Yep.
Awesome.
I'm gonna roll investigation because Eggs has a great modifier for that. Nat 20 plus 8.
Oh,
He is seeing.
let's see if James can also perceive. +9. Oh, he can also perceive.
Oh, nice. So yeah.
They both perceive, but I feel like Eggs spotted it first.
I get the feeling James is like sort of like navigating the both of them like through the streets and making sure they don't run into traffic and stuff, which frees Eggs up to look at the buildings around them a little bit more.
Yes, 100%.
And like a couple blocks away from the PartyPlex, he's gonna like with his free hands tap James on the shoulder and be like, that looks like it might be a bookstore, and point out what is, given Future World City's whole aesthetic, it's probably just a store
Just
called
head like a dog. He just kind of cranes his head like a dog, like, where?
And it's probably like a very plain like chrome storefront that just says like, I don't even know. What's the most boring name you can give a bookstore? Boring futuristic name.
Bookstore.
Mhm.
Hold on. I'm opening up
Printed media.
fantasy name generators. The fantasy name generators save us.
Printed media, maybe?
Yeah.
Printed Media LLC.
Yeah.
You do eggs. You do see James's nose kind of scrunch up just a little bit on the aesthetics, but then he's also just tugging you close to the bookstore. Books.
Eggs continuing to follow behind.
I imagine that the door does kind of like a little automated jingle noise, but there's no actual doorbell.
Yeah, it's the electronic chime to mimic it.
Yep. And James just kind of looks up a little bit and just, you mean, fine.
Oh, I think X will, like, at that, like, he is a little bit amused by James's grumbling reaction.
He just kind of like pouts a little bit and is just like, it's a bookstore. It's supposed to be a little bit more antique. Not. He does a hand gesture with his free hand because he has not let go of Eggs's arm.
Yeah, it's probably like books laid out on these like white and chrome shelves, all very neatly and methodically. And X is like, I mean, it is Future World City. If you wanted a more antique feel, I feel like you'd have to go outside of the city a bit.
I know. I just does another hand gesture. It doesn't feel like my memories, but the smell's still there though. The new book smell is still there, which I will give them plus.
Yeah, I'm a little bit surprised that there is a store that sells printed books instead of just those e-readers.
Mm-hmm. I know, right? I'm like really glad we found one. So, what genre do we want to go to?
Hmm. James, you can roll insight on eggs if you want.
Do, do, do. Roll in on D20. That's a 30. That nope. D20 plus what is your insight? That's a 6. Okay.
Hey,
A
this time
13.
it rolled 13. Um, it's not hard to see Eggs is a bit overwhelmed by this place. He doesn't get out much, and he is not quite sure where to go or what to do here. He is sticking close by James.
He just kind of shifts his arms so he can kind of just tuck eggs closer, like kind of just slinging his arm from the arm to just kind of Eggs' side and tucking him closer. Like it's okay, we can take our time.
Ah, that's so cute. Uh, thanks. It's been a while since I've been to a bookstore. Um, I don't know. What genre do you think would be best, I guess?
hmm. Well, some of my go-tos are the historical fan fiction. No, no, sorry, not fan fiction. I meant to say historical fantasy. That was a flub on my part.
Mm.
Ah, so like Hamilton.
So historical fantasy. I tend to like romances, but that might not be your speed. But that's completely fine. Um, Considering our experiences, horror should probably be not until we're both ready for that. Probably the same with suspense. So thrillers are probably not on the table. Um,
Yeah, I'd rather avoid that kind of stuff.
okay, so no horror, no thrillers. Um, just your kind of more classic adventure style stuff. Um, Mira trying to think about other genres than the genres they're into. Um, James probably gives a little bit more of a kind of more gentle lowdown on some of the genres and stuff, kind of keeping an eye on eggs to see if there's anything that kind of perks his interest a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, in the Wet Cat Energy FPS, I think Eggs mentioned fantasy as a genre that he used to read.
Mm-hmm. Okay. James would remember that. Mira did not remember that.
Valid.
So he kind of thinks for a moment and then goes, "How about we look at the fantasy section? That sound good?"
Uh, sure, yeah.
He kind of just gives another little gentle squeeze, like, "You're good. You got this. I'm here." So now we gotta find the fantasy section.
Hmm. And to. So this might be another investigation perception, or we could, or survival, or we could just hand wave it as there's probably a big ass sign hanging from the ceiling that says fantasy.
Well, searching does give us the opportunity. Rolling gives us the opportunity to stumble upon Eli.
Well, what I was thinking is maybe just like if fantasy is towards the back of the store, they can pass the self help section and guaranteed stumble into Eli.
Oh, that's true.
Guaranteed Eli Mallory.
Let's do that. Let's just say it's like there are big enough signs that it's very easily navigated, even though it's very corporate style.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So as they're making their way to the back of the store, should we have everyone roll perception or?
Yeah,
Yeah.
let's roll perception.
Let's see if you can make out Eli from the rest of the gray around him.
Oh my god, he would blend in here, wouldn't he?
Oh no.
5! He
Oh.
doesn't see anything. He's busy.
He's like
Luckily,
got two books in his hands and he's looking between them, like trying to figure out which one's better. Eggs is mostly focused on following James, and then James coming in with a 24 is going to see Eli for sure.
to be
It's
fair, James
camouflage.
is very used to looking at things in grayscale.
Oh?
I imagine.
I do a gesture at certain canon city things for James's backstory because that's very heavily black and white noir theming right there.
Huh.
He's got an eye for looking at grayscale and seeing the values.
Yep. So he just kind of goes, "Oh, Eli, hi. I
I
kind of figured you
imagine
were here."
uh my initial idea is that they almost pass him, but then like James suddenly stops and is like, oh, there he is.
Yes.
Uh Eli kind of jumps up and he's like, oh, James, fancy seeing you here. What do you do here? He kind of like tucks one of the he's kind of like holds one of the books closer to him. He's a little bit taken aback visibly, but he's not like upset or anything. He's actually he's got the look of the face of like, oh, thank God you're not some random person coming up to me.
Oh. Does Eggs wanna do a little reaction to, "Oh, a coworker."
I'm not sure Eggs knows who Eli is. I can't remember if they've ever met.
Okay.
I think
I,
they were in the like security gang
They
together, but I don't think
were!
they interacted much.
They were. So he has met him before. Let's see. I'm gonna roll him a history and see if he remembers who Eli is. Because it's been a while.
Just like
12. This guy looks vaguely familiar, but Eggs isn't sure. He just sort of like holds up his free hand in like a half-hearted wave, but he's mostly just like, okay, this is one of James's friends who I don't really know. I'm just gonna hang back.
I'm gonna roll a history on Eli, see if he remembers, because I don't think they really interacted. So, oh, I have a really good history though.
Oh,
20,
wow.
damn. Eli perks up and is like, "Oh, Eggs, it's been a while. Are you two, together?" He asks.
I'm going to roll intelligence to see if James connects the dots. Plus 3. That's a 6. We're here to check out some books in the fantasy section. Completely misses the possible other meaning.
To be fair, Eli was trying to ask if they were like together as like a group, but he doesn't realize that, oh wait, that means dating. He's not very nuanced. He's like, "Oh really?" He's like, he kind of steps up to you guys. He's like, "A book club? Well, I have been meaning to socialize more. I have been a bit of a shut in lately. I've been doing some research. Uh, though I have been
Research
meaning to step.
is good.
Yes, very good. It's I have also been meaning to step out of my normal um reading material though. I've been told that I've been acting a little too human to the point where it's a bit weird." And then he kind of you see this look on his face that like flashes of like, "Wait, what? Oh shit." And he's like, not the you know what I mean, right?"
Eggs looks so confused. He's like, what the? How does someone act too human, and who would say that to you?
Do you want to roll insight on Eli?
Sure.
I want you to picture that James has his
12.
head tilted like a confused puppy.
You see Eli like this. Okay, both of them kind of catch on to this because the 12 and 11 are about in the same ballpark. He seems to have like caught on that what he said was kind of a weird thing to say. So he's trying to like kind of elaborate on what he means, but he's failing to do so. So his point he's trying to like brush it off as like, it doesn't matter, it doesn't matter. Don't think about it, it doesn't matter.
James just kind of reaches over with his other hand and pats Eli on the on the arm and is just like, "You're okay, bud."
Thanks. He like visibly tenses a little bit at being touched on Lee. He's like, oh, okay. He's
James
doing his
squints.
best.
James just like, "Are you okay, or do you just not
Oh,
like being touched?"
I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm not used to being touched. I don't
Okay.
interact
Do you
often.
do, do you want me to possibly give you more casual touches, like on the arm and the shoulders and stuff, and like maybe some hugs if you ever want? Or do you
Like
just kind of want me to give you some personal space?
he glances off to the side. He's like, I like being touched. It's
Okay.
nice.
He gives another pat.
He's and then he kind of blinks. He's like, "Oh, right, book club, book club. If it's not any issue, would you mind if I joined you? I mean, it would also be nice to be with a group of people that actually can remember where things are, especially in a city like this."
James just kind of gives Eggs a little squeeze and is just like, "You good with that?"
It's fine, yeah.
Sure, then welcome.
Nice. He kind of like steps up to you guys and kind of like joining your little group.
Eli has joined the party.
Eli has joined the party.
Eli has joined the book club.
You get a +5 on awkwardness.
Oh no! It's gone critical. The awkwardness reactor. It's melting down.
Don't worry, James has the coolant.
You have obtained Eli.
James just kind of leans over and hooks his other arm around Eli's and is just like, "Great, we're going to the fantasy. We're going to the fantasy section to see if there's anything that piques our interest. You good with fantasy?"
Oh, I've never read anything fantasy before. I've heard of it. It sounds interesting. He's like visibly growing excited. He's like, yeah.
James can't help but grin.
Aww.
They're so scruggly.
I just my brain is just very happy.
Mood.
Like James is just like giving me so many happy vibes. I'm just like, ah, yes, this is the life.
James
He
gets
is
to have a
so
good time for
excited.
once.
Yep. And he is gonna kind of just V formation drag these two to the fantasy section.
Eli's trying to keep up, but he's like stumbling a little bit. He's like, yeah.
He will try and slow down a little bit just because he's like, oh no, I don't want my friends to fall.
To be fair, Eli's not the most coordinated guy on the planet, so he's doing his best.
We love him for it.
We love these awkward men.
Oh, I love them so much. How's Eggs doing?
How's Egg?
How is Eggs doing? He's here still.
He's
He
chilling.
is a little bit confused by this whole turn of events, but you know, this is happening now, he guesses.
I picture on their way to the fantasy section, James starts rambling about some of the books he's read in the past that he's finally had the ability to remember a little bit. One of them being Toon, Pride, and Prejudice and Zombies.
Pride, Prejudice, and Zombies?
Yep.
Ooh.
Hell, that sounds radical.
Do y'all want to roll insight on Eggs?
Yeah.
Yep, that's an 8.
23. James is so caught up in describing this book, but Eli notices that Eggs looks distinctly uncomfortable as zombies get brought up and is very pointedly looking away as James continues describing this book.
He's mainly describing it in the whole entire fact that people have like diverged from the original source material and just like, wow, people are so creative.
I imagine Eli kind of like tries to divert the conversation. He's like, well, that kind of reminds me of this book I read on human anatomy. Right. It's actually quite fascinating. I don't know how close it is to toonkind anatomy, but it was talking about how he's like visibly trying to like think of something of like, what's
James.
not zombies? What's not zombies?
Writing off the 23X is still very uncomfortable with this topic of conversation. Possibly even more so.
Oh, it's really good at healing things. Yes, very healy. Very healy. And he's trying really hard.
Oh, my dad was gonna be a doctor, but then he like completely decided to drop out of college and go on a whole entire martial arts finding himself journey instead.
I think I saw a movie about that once. Or heard of a movie about that once. I think it had a panda in it. He's trying really hard to try and divert the conversation.
I mean,
X does
James
like
is
snort laugh a little at
diverted.
that.
Because like the topic of like human anatomy and like good for healing completely switched his brain over to thinking about his remembered memories of his father and how batshit crazy his dad is a little bit.
Also, I feel like
We
Handy's
love-
going to start laughing at the Kung Fu Panda tangent. So, Eli, if you want to roll perception.
Oh yeah, Eli doesn't know handy.
Mhm.
Alright, where's my perception? Oh my god, my passive perception is high. Okay, anyway. 11.
Huh, X's laughing voice sounds really different from his speaking voice.
Kinda tingy. Or tingy. Oh well, that's normal.
It's also like a lot louder than his voice normally is. It's like
He jumps a bit, he's like,
X looking over at him, concerned, like, "Are you alright?"
oh, I thought we were laughing.
What are we laughing about?
I heard laughing, I thought we were laughing about something. Never mind. Kind of shrinks into himself.
The movie, I think?
Oh, right.
Oh.
Yes, movie. Yeah, that's what we were laughing about. I think we were. He kind of looks over at James. We were laughing about that, right? I think we were.
Oh, I was about to go into a whole entire info dump about and he kind of just does a hand gesture, all of the really cool history behind the movie and stuff,
Oh yes, yes, yes.
which he proceeds to do.
Eli's taking his rambling as a chance to maybe recover from the awkwardness of the situation of, oh god, they weren't laughing. Oh god, what was I listening to?
Oh, I do
He'll
feel like
recover.
James. I feel like James kind of does give his arm a little squeeze, so Eli kind of gets a little arm hug of like, "Oh, you're okay, buddy."
He's so good at socializing.
He's
He is.
trying.
There's a little wizard laughing at you, Eli. It's a wizard.
It's always the wizard.
Except when it's ghosts.
It's either wizards or ghosts.
Oh.
Gasp. I feel like at this point we've reached the fantasy section.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Even though we've planned this FPS for like months, I realized that I forgot to come up with some like titles of books they could find.
Hold on. To the fantasy name generator.
Uh-huh.
That's my go-to.
I mean, really, all you gotta do is the X of Y and Z.
That's true.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm petting my cat.
You're good. Anyways,
Alright.
do we want to roll maybe an investigation to see if they find anything that pops out for all of them?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Investigation. And if I remember correctly, that's one of the things I'm proficient in. No, oh yes, it is. It's a +7. Wait,
Oh my
12.
god, the investigation gang, and we all got 12 and 13 with our +7, +8, and +9.
Yep.
Just for
Dice
fun,
cards are
I'm gonna roll for Handy.
nice.
Watch Handy get the highest score.
Truly, but it's only a 14.
Still, I
That's
predicted
funny.
it.
Mhm.
I'm imagining James kind of picks out like kind of like a very trashy kind of fantasy novel, kind of older vibes of like it being written a while back.
It's- My instant thought was like one of those like the kind of book that has like the 1980s fantasy artwork. It's
Oh
very
yes,
like kind of trying to be Lord of the Rings, but not quite.
yes, yes, absolutely. And he's like paging through, kind of like trying to find any of like the trigger stuff that so eggs can enjoy it. He's like, well, there's romance in this too. Oh dear. Hmm. He shuts the book.
Oh.
I feel like Eli is kind of looking through everything and he is like it's a mix of like fascination but a lot of confusion over the stuff in the book. He has never heard. He has been raised around shiny and sleek and everything in these books is very much not that. And so he is like very not familiar with any of this. He's like, "Oh, what is this?"
I feel like Eggs picks up a book off the shelf that's very thick, and there's like a castle on the front, and he starts leafing through it, and there's like a solid third of the book is like maps and stuff.
He opens it up and like a trifold of a map starts falling onto the ground.
Honestly, yeah.
Ooh, cartography.
This. Oh boy. He starts trying to fold it back up.
James is gonna try and help. He's used to maps.
There's a lot of this series, but I'm not finding the first one in this one. It's all twos and
Oh,
fours and
oh,
eights.
that's the worst.
This one goes all the way to 32.
Holy shit.
That's a lot.
Man, that
I
author
didn't
really
know
must have
books
had
could
some
go
time on
this
their
long.
hands. Yeah, no, there's some authors that just yes, they sat down at their desk and they just haven't stopped writing, metaphorically speaking.
I imagine Eli pulls out like a book and it's like, this man has very pointy ears. Oh, that's an elf. I recognize that.
James is pulling out a book. Why? This is a romance book. Why is it in the fantasy section?
I mean, I there's like fantasy romance too, isn't there? It can be both.
Yes, but this is a bodice ripper.
Uh,
It's a ripper.
Very obviously more adult, and he's just like, why is this here? Who mislabeled? Like the stickers don't even have the.
I mean, it technically looks like she's got a tiara on. Maybe they just didn't look further than that.
Oh, probably. Oh gosh. Oh dear.
If you look at it at a certain angle, the man's ears do look a little bit pointy.
Mhm. James just very slowly like tucking the book under his arm, very obviously going to shelve it in the proper place.
I'm trying to think.
James is just gonna try and look for another book just to get his brain off of the horror that he just witnessed.
Should we roll again?
Yes.
Yes.
To the rolling zone.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
13.
14, 13, 13. Oh my god, this book section is just full of indistinguishable, mediocre fantasy, huh?
Yeah.
I imagine my brain is like Eli has been wandering the aisles so long that he's somehow managed to get into the sci-fi section, and he's like, I don't remember robots being a part of medieval Europe.
No,
What?
no, I think that's sci-fi. Did they misfile that too? Wandering over. Oh wait, no, we're in the sci-fi section now.
Egg's looking down
Oh,
and
you're
hands
right.
you
I
like,
am here.
what? Europe?
I don't know. I think it's like a made-up continent or something.
On it. It sounded right.
Maybe it's
Forgot you.
Europa.
Yeah, that
Squinting.
sounds right.
That does sound more like fantasy.
He like flipping through the book. What is Great Britain?
I don't know. It sounds fake to me.
Why do they talk like this? Said Eli in his bad impression of a New Zealand accent.
Oh, Egg's peering over like, it's a little unrealistic for a country to call themselves great like that. Like, how egotistical can you get?
Oh, the sun never sets on Great Britain. Wow, these guys sound like jerks.
What's an in it?
I don't know.
Why do they keep saying in it?
Maybe it's like a linguistic term?
Tales of the Partyplex, James, Egg, and Eli roast Great Britain.
Oh, I mean,
You kind of see him put the
Sounds
book
like
back.
an animal.
It sounds like an animal.
Like, doesn't it sound like a made-up monster or something?
maybe it's one of those like made up fantasy terms when they have a concept that doesn't really exist, so they make a weird word up for it.
Oh, like a wasamabob.
Yeah.
They must have a
Hmm.
lot in it in their country then.
Maybe it's an infestation.
I don't want to get in it.
It's not a
Like
real
tribbles.
thing.
Oh,
I'm pretty sure you can't
I got too wrapped up.
actually get something out of a book into real life. At least most of the time. I'm pretty sure there are books where you can, but
I feel like that's probably a trope somewhere.
I think I saw a movie about that once.
James kind of just shivers. I've had
You
like
just see Eli put the
nightmares.
book back, and it's like it's very visible that he's doing it very gingerly as to not catch whatever's on the book.
James is just like, I once had nightmares where a comic book came alive and tried to eat me. Like a mimic.
Well, to be fair, aren't those things quite small? I don't think he'd be able to stomach a whole person.
Some mimics can get really big.
But like if it was a comic book first, it can't be that big.
Talk to my subconscious. It was a nightmare. I was really stressed about a final project I had to do.
It involved comic books.
Yeah, no, it was like a book report, but we could choose what we were gonna do. But I chose to do a comic book, and then I really regretted it because there was some social political stuff going on back at my school, and it I've graduated from high school. It's fine. Did I graduate from high school?
If it makes you feel any better, I don't think I did.
Yeah, me neither.
Which is weird, considering I should have a degree in accounting. How the hell did I get that?
James is just sitting here going like, wait, timeline wise, when did I die?
You just see Eli Mallory was like staring off in the space with this look of contemplation of like, wait, how long have I been alive again?
Handshake with James. He's just kind of like trying to like calculate exact timeline wise, and like he's just kind of like there are like equations floating over his head, like that one meme.
Eggs like
Poor Eggs is just seeing these two men with equations.
Eggs pats James on the shoulder and is like, it's really not a big deal.
Good. What's in the
Okay.
past is in the past.
Okay. So we're not really having any luck with the fantasy. Do we want to try science fiction?
Uh,
Sure, why not?
you just Eli's like, oh, maybe they'll have a thing on imaginary numbers.
I
That
feel
sounds awful fictiony.
I feel like that's science fiction is usually a little more tangible than that.
More narrative based.
Oh.
But
Oh, okay.
but also I'm trying to now I'm thinking about a plot about like sentient numbers now. How would that work?
I don't
Would
know.
it just be full of like number puns?
I suppose so. That ought to just be a math book.
Yeah.
I did read
It's,
an awful fascinating mathematics book recently.
Oh, did you have you gone over like geometry or anything like that? I think geometry is really interesting because you can apply it into real life and
Well, calculus. A lot of theoretical stuff. It's where I learned about what an imaginary number even was.
oh, I don't really know if I actually ever got to calculus.
I don't know
Huh.
if I did either. Whatever. Oh, now I know it.
Anyways, what about spaceships?
Ooh. Spaceships like the stars in the sky.
Yeah, like the stars. Like you because like you take a ship and then you travel in the space that's in the
Oh,
stars and stuff.
I didn't know you could go, people went up there still.
I know that there are aliens that have come down here. Like, isn't like DJ Grooves moves? I can't remember the
I,
snail's XP
I,
name. Help! It's been too long.
I think
Moves.
so.
Thank you.
I think so.
Like,
Like, there are definitely some aliens.
yeah. So I think you can travel in space. I think.
I should go to space one day.
Oh,
You see
that'd
his
be
eyes like
cool.
light up.
I don't think it's something that like just anyone can do, but like a lot of people write books about it anyway.
Yeah. He just starts vibrating a little bit. It's like, oh, I gotta get myself into space. Won't touch
Why
it.
is Dar's dice parser giving me 12s?
We looking at sci-fi books now?
Yeah.
Yes.
Eli, please.
Oh my god,
Come
a
on,
nat
Eli.
one!
Eli suddenly forgets how to read.
Oh my god, Dice Parser does not want this book club to happen.
For being sabotaged.
I say, since this is an FPS, all of us have advantage and we should roll again.
Maybe I'll roll a physical dice since Dice Parser hates us. Let's see how this goes.
I'll try the same thing too. See if that improves my luck.
I don't remember which box I got
Oh,
my dice put into.
God, please
come on,
give
Dice
me
2.
the die.
Give me a number. Not that
Oh,
number.
finally! I forgot to add the 9 to that. So, yeah, he finally finds a proper book.
Yeah, I rolled a physical dice and I got a 15 plus a 7, which should be well over
Yeah.
20.
I
Mm-hmm.
got an 8 plus an 8, which is 16, which is eh.
Still good though. It's way
Mm-hmm.
better than like 12 and 13 and 14.
Yeah, it's decent enough.
We all find something, yay! Or, I know Eli and James at least did.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
Eggs probably
part
find
of me
something. It's got a rocket ship on the cover. The insides, who knows?
part of part of me wants to say James found the Murderbot equivalent series.
Murderbot.
Murderbot is sci-fi. It's the Murderbot Diaries to be specific, but
Oh,
it's a really good series.
I have heard of it before, but I don't know much.
Basically, it's a very, very sarcastic security unit robot that hacked its programming. Instead of killing everybody, it decides to just stick around and watch a lot of TV on the internet, basically.
me.
Oh, eggs can relate to this.
And it's so sarcastic and I love it so much, and its pronouns are it doesn't care about any of the other human issues, except it keeps getting dragged into adventures and getting attached.
Now Handy can relate to this.
Okay, you know what, Peckett, James does find the Murderbot Diaries, and he's flipping through and going, oh, I like this character, it's very sassy.
We love the sassy creature. I'm trying to think about. I'm doing research.
You were so valid.
It's like the first thing that comes to mind for Eli is um I have no mouth and I must scream. But
Hmm.
at the same time it's like I think that freaked him out a little bit.
Probably not the
Mm-hmm.
He's like
best for some light reading.
he's like, "Ah."
Yeah.
Jump scared.
Hmm. Eggs going over to look at the book James is looking at. Like, does that one not have like a lot of killing people in it? I mean, given the name.
James kind of flips through it and like kind of like just looks and is like, oh no, it's about like protecting people and stuff.
Hmm.
It's like there's like a an exploration team that it's protecting. Like I think it has some like backstory stuff on why it's calling itself Murderbot, but he shrugs. I think it'll be safe for all of us.
Handy speaking of, like, maybe it's an ironic name.
Maybe. James completely happy to openly respond to Handy.
Mhm.
He's like, yeah, baby.
Oh.
Does Eli notice that Handy talked?
A perception. He was like, there's the wizard again. 23.
Yeah, with a 23, Eli could now easily tell that that voice is coming from Eggs's watch, which he's wearing even though he's not otherwise in uniform.
He kind of looks at it and then looks at James, and it does, and just like, does Eggs know about Handy?
Does Eggs know that his watch is sapient and talks? Yeah, I sure hope so, yes.
Eli's like, they can do that?
Handy, like, I mean, not every Raz watch. I'm just special.
Oh. Eli had he's not as shocked as one probably would be, but at the same time he's like, oh, nice. He seems a little bit more comforted by the existence of Handy, and that the fact that James and Eggs do not seem bothered by him at all.
Aw. Yeah, Handy has a smug little look on its screen.
We love Handy.
Handy stands. The smuggest watch I've ever seen. Yeah, Eli's mainly just been kind of like listening in on the conversation, and he's more interested in the fact that a murder bot would be a thing that would be built. Because in his head, he's like, that doesn't quite make sense. Why would we want a murder bot?
I'm gonna roll insight to see if James notices the confusion, because he's kind of read like a few of the pages, so he kind of gets a little bit of the starting grasp of what a sec unit is. 20 plus 6. Ooh, that's an unnatural. That's a dirty 20.
Oh,
He looks over at Eli and is just like, "Oh, it's basically it helps. Uh, basically, there's a few different automated. Well, let Mira figure out the words they want to say. Uh, um, he basically kind of explains how as the civilization's progression has turned towards some people don't like holding the weapons and stuff, so they came up with programming robots to help with keeping people safe, among other things. In this universe, in this story.
so like security guards.
Yeah.
So they're
My old company made people like that, or robots like that.
outsourcing
James.
the violence so it can still happen, but you don't have to feel guilty about it.
Yeah, from what I've skimmed, there's a lot of nice commentary about like the corruption of companies and the building up of communities and stuff, and how community help is a lot better than corporations.
Do you want to roll an insight on Eli?
Sure.
19.
13.
With a 13, you see he's a little bit. He kind of stiffens a little bit, but you don't quite make out why. With a 19, at the mention of like, oh yeah, it's a statement on corrupt companies and all that, you see his brows like visibly furrow over his eyes. He seems to take offense to that statement. And then he realizes, wait, I gotta. And then he kind of relaxes again. But you can still see he's kind of holding back saying something.
I mean, as long as it's not like a PartyPlex sponsored book club, I feel like a little anti capitalist message wouldn't hurt.
Yeah,
Right.
no.
Right.
Oh yeah, no. We're probably not going to be reading a lot of the books on Superplex part at work.
Yeah. Hmm. Yeah, I feel like.
Eli seems to kind of. He kind of shuffles a little bit back and forth. He's like, right. Like most book clubs, I think. I've never been in a club before, so um, I suppose I'm
Yeah,
not used to being outside of company property.
don't worry, it'll be at my house. Well, not house, my apartment.
Oh.
Hmm. X looks a little bit surprised to hear that.
Oh, right. Did I not mention that I was planning on having it at my house?
Uh, I I don't remember.
That's on me. Sorry.
No, it's fine. That probably makes more sense than having it at the PartyPlex. It's just I haven't really been over to anyone else's place for a while.
Oh, I feel that. I went over to Ajax's for the first time, and like since I went to a friend's house for the first time since I was little, which never really happened when I was little. So don't worry, it's gonna be good. We're gonna have some snacks if people want snacks. We'll have comfy seating. Yeah, it'll be good.
Eli kind of leans in and is like, is this a secret meeting?
Oh no, it's not secret.
Oh. Well.
It's just a hangout. We're gonna be talking about the book we read.
You see him kind of nod and it's like, oh, I didn't realize we could do that.
X looking at Eli with one eyebrow raised, that's didn't realize we could talk to other people outside. No, actually, like didn't realize what that we're allowed to talk to each other outside of work or
Well, I didn't realize we were allowed to organize. I'm not used to organizing
I
with people.
I mean it's not a union.
Oh, not much. Yes, but ah, he's,
Do we even have a union?
I
I don't
don't
think we
know.
do. I'm imagining Eli visibly tensing. He's like, "Don't say that out loud. They won't hear us."
I feel like if we had a union, I would have heard about it by now. But on the other hand, it's not like I talk to that many people.
In a basic twist, the book club becomes a PartyPlex's first union.
Honestly, James is very tempted to start up a union if there isn't one already.
Poor Eli looks like he's about to faint.
Are you feeling okay, Eli?
Oh, I'm fine. I'm fine. Very normal. Very normal right now.
Uh, you don't look okay.
I'm fine. Hey,
Do you
if
need
you
to
want,
like sit down?
if you want, you can roll insight.
17.
14.
Uh, I think he's like visibly. He's not like super. He doesn't look sick, but he visibly looks like he's like glancing all around. He's like looking over his shoulder. It's like he's it's like even talking about organizing outside of work at all is some taboo thing, and that someone's gonna come around the corner and just snatch them up.
Aw.
He is very, and it's like there's this part of his face that's like logically like no, no, that's not gonna happen, but there's this much stronger part of his mind like, but it will.
James is immediately just kind of shifting to like kind of like guard the corner for Eli and just go, "No worry. If anybody tries to like stop us from doing stuff that's good for our health and mental well-being, I got you back."
At this he kind of relaxes like, right, this is self-care. We're working on self-care. We're self-caring. Right. If I don't self-care, I can't work as well as right, okay, makes sense, makes sense. This is a bonus for the company. This is in the company's best interest. He kind of rambles a bit, and then he realizes, oh, I look insane. So he kind of like straightens up a bit, and he kind of runs a hand through his hair, and he's like, "Sorry about that. Very normal right now. Just bad memories. Nothing to worry about."
Right. I mean, it seems like everyone's pretty interested in this book, so maybe we just, like, buy this one and that's what we'll read for book club?
Yeah,
So-
and then once we finish this book, if we want to keep going, we can just come back and find another one.
Sounds great by me.
James kind of leans over and pats Eli's shoulder, like telegraphing his movements, and is just like, "You're doing great, Eli."
Uh, oh, thanks.
Well, X is gonna go pick up 2 more copies of the book and hands one to Eli.
He kind of holds and he's like kind of running his thumb around on the kind of like edge of the book as a way to kind of like self-soothe. He's still a little bit jumpy, but he's
Mm-hmm.
a lot more relaxed.
X like, okay, so we're not gonna talk about unions with Eli anymore.
Yeah, James is just gently patting, like, "Don't worry, bud. You're good."
We can't discuss unions with Eli, he'll faint.
The poor man's got a poor constitution.
The book club accidentally becomes a union, and Eli realizes he's in a union, and he's like, "Oh God!"
I think James would say, "Hey, you don't have to join if you don't want to, but since there is no union for the PartyPlex, we are going to form one. You don't have to join, but just giving you a heads up."
This poor man is stressed out of his mind. He's doing his best, though.
I'm picturing him being like, should I tell someone about this? Should I inform the higher ups? Who do I go
I
to?
can't. I can't because Stitch, but I have to be a Stitch.
And then he
James
goes
just
to
kinda-
tell Maria, and Maria's just like, "Oh yeah, that's about time we have a union."
He just faints right there, like, oh god.
I feel like James would kind of give Eli a bit of like an info dump on why unions are actually better for the company.
Honestly, oh my god. I love these dorks.
Oh, yay! They've picked the book.
They got the book. Book obtained.
Yeah.
Obtained.
They're gonna go to the front and buy their books and head out.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And before everyone like parts ways, James does give both Eli and Eggs his address for his
Ooh.
apartment.
Mm.
You see, like, kind of Eli just folded up abnormally tinily somehow, and he just kind of puts it in his pocket. And it's like the type of fold where it's so neat, it just looks like a square. He's like, I'm saving this for later. Hey.
Oh, Eggs like looks over the piece of paper and then shows it to Handy so Handy can take a picture and then puts it in his pocket.
James just grins and is just like, I feel like they have discussed like a time that would work for all three of them with their schedules.
God, scheduling a game inside of a D&D game that we already had to schedule is a circle of hell I do not wish to visit. So,
Oh, mood. Like, I'm just brushing over it, saying they've already discussed all of that. So, like, the last step was just James handing everybody their his address.
so
We
that
don't
they
need to
know
do
where
the
to go.
logistics. It's all fine.
Anybody else have anything else to add?
No.
No?
Cool. I think that's a good spot to end it then.
Yeah!
Book
Oh, this was so
booking.
fun.
Book acquired with
Yay.
minimal traumatizing of Eli.
Yep.
I'm sorry that keeps coming up, but it's just like
No, it's
This
There's
man
no
is not used to
character.
the
Don't
real world.
apologize.
he doesn't know what's going on ever.
We love
He thinks
Eli
he's
so much.
he thinks he's a lot normaler than he comes off.
James is just like clocking. Ah, yes, traumatized.
There's issues with this man.
Like, ah, yes, traumatized. I don't care, Pat. He is my friend.
Should we move over to Razwatch?
Oh, we should stop the recording first.
Oh, okay.
Thank you, everybody, for coming to this books FPS. I hope you all have a good night or whatever time zone you're listening to this to. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.